So today I will try with biostatistics. I will try. Let's see how we can do about biostatistics. So as per your syllabus, the first chapter is collection of data. So we have to learn about what data is. So today I will write everything. কেন কি হয়েছে? আমি ক্লাস নিচ্ছি মামা। So is the blackboard visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we will talk about data. Data and its collection.
Hey, Baba, ABCD হচ্ছে ABCD.
Data and its collection. Are you able to see data and its collection?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is data? So data can be actually said it's a collection. Basically, data is a collection of observation. Collection of observation. The collection of observation expressed in numerical figures. Expressed in numbers, numerical figures. So this collection, it is done in two ways. The first is count all. And the second is conduct a survey. These are the two ways data is collected. First thing is, if it's a small sample, for example, a classroom of 40 students, you can count all. But if you see all the students of all the colleges, you do a survey. That is, you randomly pick some 10 or 15 from each college in all over West Bengal, and then you collect the data from them, and that is known as survey. This will be a representative of all the data through West Bengal. Small samples can be done very easily. So data is always used in a collective sense. Data cannot be singular. Data is never singular. Always collective. So there will be always many numbers, many information present, many collections. It's a collection. So basically data we are talking mostly about, we'll be talking about statistical data. Statistical data. Statistical data, you know that it can be two types. The first is qualitative. মানে রেটিং দিচ্ছ, you are giving a rating. Zomato say you have ordered food and you are giving a rating, very good, less good, bad. So you are giving a rating. That is qualitative data, but still it is data from which actually Zomato gets to know that how the customers are thinking about a particular restaurant. And of course you have a quantitative data. Quantitative data by which you actually make a real quantitative measurement. You get values in good numbers. So qualitative data is, say for example, skin color. skin color. Skin color can be brown, black, white. Eye color, it can be blue, brown, black. The sex can be male, female. This is not quantitative, but qualitative. And in quantitative data, number of books, number of students, the height of a person, weight of a person. So there is a numerical relation with one another. That numerical relation will say this is I have 10 books. Another body, somebody will say I have 15 books. Somebody else will say I have 20 books. So there is always a relationship between 20, 15, and 10. Right. So this quantitative data, it can be two types. The first one is discrete. And the second one is continuous. So what do you mean by discrete data? Discrete data is number of books. You can count the books. 1 book, 2 book, 3 book, 4 book, 5 book. You don't say 1.1 book, 1.2 book, 1.3 book. It is discrete. So each book is a separate number. And in continuous data, height or weight. Somebody can be 70 kilos, then 70.0001 kilos, 70.000. So it is always continuous. It is going. So this data, for example, height, weight. I'm writing it in brackets here, height and weight. Height, weight. And here you remember it as number of books. শুনতে পাচ্ছ তো সবাই?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can get some short questions from these things. Therefore, you have to pick up the marks from here. You have to pluck out the marks from here. So this is the difference between quantitative and qualitative data. Qualitative data is always discrete. Brown eye, black eye, blue eye, green eye. So this is always discrete. So now data can be classified from the source of data collection. Source of data collection. How can they be classified? First thing is, you call them as primary data. And the next thing is secondary data. Primary data and secondary data. So primary data is a data which you directly collect from the field or experiment. Collected directly from field or experiment. And secondary data or you take from already collected primary data. For example, primary data is you have the consensus, the Indian census, they go, the census board, they go to all houses and measure how many girl childs in Asansol, which are below the age of 3. So they count the data. Now, this is the data they count directly. They go to house and they collect the data, and that is primary data. They have got a primary data. But the secondary data is somebody, for example, is writing a paper. that Asansol has got high number of girl childs, and the reason, what could be the reason for this? For this, they need the data on the number of girl childs. So they go to the census site and they take the data out from the primary data. And so this data which they put in their publication, they give reference of the primary of the census, and this is known as secondary data. Is it clear difference between primary and secondary data?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is one. This is from the source of data. You can also divide it into data can be also divided into raw data and derived data. So raw data is never not processed. It's an unprocessed data. একেবারে কাঁচা data from a spectrophotometer, you have just taken a reading, you have not done any calculation. You are just putting the OD value, that is the raw data. But later when you calculate it, the concentration from the OD, then that becomes the derived data. So unprocessed data. Okay. So in the next page, we will go. We will talk about collection of primary data. Now, what is collection of primary data? So you know that primary data is the data collected directly from the field. So how is it collected? শোনা যাচ্ছে না?
শোনা যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা। So first is direct personal observation. How it is collected? First is direct personal observation. তুমি directly চলে তুমি করলে ডেটাটা। Observation, direct personal observation. আমি পড়াচ্ছি মামা। Next is indirect oral investigation. Indirect oral investigation. So you ask somebody else, अच्छा तुमने उस घर में गया था, उसमें कितना गर्ल चाइल्ड है? तो डायरेक्ट तुम्हें एक बार जाके देखा, और एक है तुम किसी से पूछा. एंड क्वेश्चनियर सेंड बाय मेल, ये हमेशा तुम लोग के पास क्वेश्चनियर फीडबैक सब आता है. Questionnaire sent by mail or WhatsApp. You have asked data from, and that data comes to you. That is a primary data you are collecting. And said information sent by investigators. सम कोई और एक आदमी काम कर रहा है, तुमको भेज दिया. तुम लोग का हमेशा ऐसे ही होता है, या क्लास में somebody gets a data, प्रैक्टिकल का कुछ मिलता है, you send it to the groups. So another person who has taken the data sends it to everybody else in the group. This is how primary data is collected. So everybody gets the primary data. Now, what is a questionnaire? What is a questionnaire? The questionnaire, it is a pro forma. একটা pro forma है. It contains a sequence of questions. It contains a sequence of questions. And this is relevant to a statistical inquiry. So this questionnaire used for collection of primary data. তোমরা পড়তে পারছো তো আমি কি লিখছি?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is basically data. So some advantages of primary data are there. So let us see what are the advantages of primary data. The first thing, detailed information you get. Detailed information. You get detailed information. Secondary, some of this may be suppressed. दिया नहीं जाता है. It is free from transcribing errors. मतलब कोई कुछ रिपोर्ट बना रहा है उसका, it is free from that error. Free from transcribing errors. So this is the advantage. And now advantage of secondary data. What are the advantages of secondary data? Cost effective. Labor effective. You don't have to send person on the field, uska khana pina, sab rehna. You don't have to do this. Okay. समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. सुनंदर पासवान समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go next page में जाते हैं. We have to understand what is a statistical population. Population according to statistics. It is an entire group of people. Group of people, or you can say study things, study elements. It can be entire group of pencil, pen, paper, or lamp, which you are observing or studying. Study elements. having some fundamental common characteristics. So what do you mean by common fundamental characteristics? This actually means that, so you want to study the different types of pen, different types of writing materials which students use. So the common thing is writing material. So you will see whether it's a pen, pencil, or whatever with which the student is writing. So the fundamental common characteristic is it is a writing material. So this is a thing. So you have to, you should be able to group them. So this population can be finite and infinite. Finite, it can be infinite. It is finite, you know, it has got fixed number of values. Finite has got fixed number of values, and this has got endless succession of values. Goes on till infinity. Another thing which that they ask is sampling. So what is sampling? So sampling is getting information of the whole group by examining only part of the whole group. By examining only part of the whole group. So you are making biryani. So you cannot count if check if all the rice has been cooked properly there. So you just pick up one or two of the rice grains. That is a sample. यार हो गया बिरयानी बन गया. Right? ठीक तो?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is known as sampling. So sampling can be random. It can be non-random. So you know what is random sampling? It's a probability. कोई एक हाथ घुसाया चॉकलेट के जार में, हाँ, जो भी चॉकलेट आ गया ग्रीन व्हाइट ब्लू, एक दैट इज रैंडम. एंड नॉन रैंडम ने तुम सिलेक्ट करके ये वाला चीज ले रहे हो, हाँ, जो लाल है उसी को निकाल रहे हो. दैट इज बेसिकली नॉन रैंडम सैम्पलिंग. Next is we have to know what is variable. আমি একটু পড়াচ্ছি মামা. দাঁড়া পড়িয়ে নি তারপরে করে দিচ্ছি. Variables. What are variables? Variables are the measurable characteristics. Measurable characteristics which can be numerically expressed in terms of some units, which can be numerically expressed in terms of some units. They can be quantitatively measured. So, for example, the height of students in a class, it can be measured for, like some are, the values can vary, but it can be numerically expressed. One student height 6 foot 2 inches, one student height 5 foot 6 inches, one student height 4 foot 9 inches. So like this, it's a variable number, but height x, you give a value x is equal to height of students. So like this, you have got discrete variables and you have continuous variables. They have got discrete variables and continuous variables. So discrete variables, you know that something like he has got 100 hairs in his head. He has got 2,000 hairs. He has got 5,000 hairs. So they are numbers. You cannot say he has got 2,000.1 hair in his or her head. It is separate. They are discrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can talk. And continuous height. Height can be ekdam matlab 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. It can be continuous. Okay, so this is the difference between discrete and continuous variables. Next, one more thing before the next class. Statistical error. So what is statistical error? Error is observed value minus true value. So a true value or a predicted value, the value should be 15, but I am supposed to get Mendelian ratio as 3:1. So instead of getting that, I'm getting 3.1:1.2. So you make an error. The true value is 3:1 and observed value. So you subtract it. So as per Mendelian ratio, out of 100, I should get 75 of the dominant and 25 of the recessive. So, but I actually got 70 of the dominant and 30 of the recessive. So you subtract from observed value minus the expected value. Okay, আজকে এখানেই থাকুক।
Okay, sir.
বুঝতে পেরেছো?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any
Yes, sir.
questions? Now we will gradually go to after this today's part. We will go to how you can graphically represent data like histogram, bar diagram, pie chart. One or two problems from that we will attempt. This we have to do it by writing. I cannot show a slide and actually explain mathematics. I have to solve it in front of you on the board, so that your brain gets some time to process. So after graphical representation of data, we will go to measure central tendency and measures of central tendency or mean median mode ogulo jabe. Then from that central tendencies, we will go to measures of variation, why range, coefficient, mean deviation, average deviation. we will go from there. Then from variation, we will go to distribution. From distribution to like chi-square test, t-test, all the statistical tests. Then we will go to correlation, regression, and ANOVA. So this we will now go on to bio. We have started biostatistics. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Tata Thale.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Okay.